We are going to go over what things you need to be looking at when you receive your offers on your property as a seller. I'm gonna do my best to keep this short and to the point. What's important in an offer that you receive? Let's break it down. Okay, obviously the price, right? But there's a lot of different factors that go into what price you get and how much you actually take home. This is the third time touching on this in the video series thus far. Because it's important, you want to ask, what are your net proceeds? Also known as your net. Remember that term? Your net. How much are you getting? Some people might ask for a home warranty, somewhere around $500, give or take, depends on the home warranty they get. They might ask for a seller credit, also referred to as concessions. Depends on how much they're asking for. Also depends on how much their loan will allow them to ask for. There are some rules that they have to follow. But there's also personal property that they might ask for. Things that may not come with the house, but they might ask for are refrigerator, washer, and dryer. Very common to be asked for. That's all negotiable. But you want to know what is the net amount you take home compared to all the other offers. Then you can make an educated decision. But you also need to decide what is most important to you. Nobody can decide that except you. We, as realtors, can educate you. We can forewarn you as to what's going to happen, what could happen. We can explain things to you as they do happen. But we don't know what's important to you. We can't read your mind, and we're not you. You have to make some hard decisions. So, how fast you want to close on the deal? The close of escrow date. Is that important to you? Because that's negotiable. What title company you choose? Usually not as important to the buyer and seller, but more important to the realtors because they have a relationship with certain escrow agents and title companies. But as long as it's not a horrible company, they're all pretty much doing the same thing. So you need to decide how important that is to you. What type of loan the buyer has. This is important for two reasons. Depending on the type of loan, VA, FHA, or conventional, there might be different guidelines. So the appraiser has to call out different things, which means you might have to repair things depending on the loan type. That's important. We can delve more into that in the process, or if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. But also, and usually the most important, is the loan type a lot of times will show you how qualified a buyer is. Not always, but very, very often. Depending on the loan type, it may be a more qualified buyer. So you want to have that conversation. In the AAR contract, there is a 10-day inspection after you come to terms and go under contract. That inspection time can be negotiated. Instead of 10 days, they can reduce it if the buyer wants to be more competitive. And as a seller, it's completely up to you how important that is. There are additional contingencies built into the AAR purchase contract. A contingency means that if it's not met, the buyer can then have an opportunity to cancel and get their earnest money back. The first contingency is the appraisal contingency. If the house is inspected by an appraiser and the appraisal value comes in lower than the contract price, the buyer has an opportunity to cancel and get the earnest money back. That contingency can be removed. The loan contingency can also be removed. So if they don't get their loan approved, typically the contingency kicks in and they get their earnest money back. If a buyer wants to be more competitive, they can remove that contingency. And it shows that they want the property more and they're willing to take that risk. As a seller, you need to decide what's important to you and have that conversation with your realtor. And the last thing is on page 8, it's additional terms. They can write in whatever they want. If they write something in there, you need to discuss exactly what that means and once again decide if that's important to you. Now, as a buyer and as a seller, each one of these things has different ramifications. So I'm talking to you as a seller. You need to have that conversation and also be ready to make a decision as to what is your priority and what's more important to you.